Welcome back to Juve from the Six. It's Chris bringing you Juventus news from Torino to Toronto. Today, however, is the first of what I hope is many, is a Juventus podcast between me and my buddy Leo, who is also a very big Juve supporter. How are you today, Leo?
What's going on, buddy? How's the weekend?
I can complain because
There's lots to complain
oh
about.
yeah,
A little too
another
much.
week, another lost points, right? I mean, it seems to be the norm nowadays, which kind of is getting a little annoying. But we'll get into that.
Yeah,
But
you don't
before
want
we
to start
get-
off a show with negative thoughts. You start.
No,
positive.
for sure. But thank you for joining us for our first ever podcast. Before we get going into the podcast, I'm just going to get you to like and subscribe to the channel. And if you want, you can press that little bell icon so you get notified every time I post videos. Hopefully in the future, this becomes big enough where we can go live. Tried to do that for this one, but apparently my page is too small. So
You'll get there.
all right, man. Well, just like to again thank you for joining me today.
Course,
I really look forward to doing this.
Yep.
Just for my 11 subscribers out there and anybody watching, we attempted to do this during the week via screen recording on the iPhone. Had a solid 45-minute chat about Juventus, Italy soccer, and then I got an error on my phone and nothing recorded. So we were kind of disappointed. So we're definitely
practice mode.
It was a practice run. Practice was good. I'm definitely looking forward to this. We do have a lot on the agenda today, but I think what we agreed upon is to touch on the Italian national team before we jump into Juventus, because that's where the emotions are going to definitely go skyrocket. So, Leo, let's take me through this. The three games for the international break against Bulgaria, Switzerland, and Lithuania. How did you feel after what you saw?
I thought they played good. Domination. They had great possession. The chemistry was all there. There's a little championship hangover. They couldn't score. Immobile can't fucking score.
No.
We all know this. Insigne couldn't bury his chances either.
Yeah.
It was just weird, right? I thought they were clicking and good movement, good defense. Florenzi messed up that one against Bulgaria. The only mistake of the game, and they costed them the tie there. But it just comes down to scoring for me, right? Like, you got to bury those chances.
They definitely did. It was like nothing was lost from that break or from that the partying, I guess they did after the Euro Cup or whatever.
Yeah.
And I agree that they dominated. They definitely did in all three games. But it's that final third that seems to just snake bite them. Immobile again can't seem to get off the snide when it comes to scoring for Italy. I mean, you throw a Lazio jersey on the guy, and the guy's popping in missiles like it's no one's business.
Yeah.
But I do agree. I think some of the blame goes on to Insigne. I mean, I had mentioned this in one of my videos as well, where this was a lot of the players on that team. Was only their third game since.
I thought Jorginho was probably the best player just because he had 2 or 3 extra games before that in the EPL, right?
Yeah.
They start earlier than everybody else, so.
Yeah, exactly.
That helps. The form helped, but.
Yeah.
Against teams like Bulgaria, and you got to bury your chances, man.
So
I understand the Swiss. Swiss are a tough team. They're solid defensively.
Yeah.
But you got to bury those chances.
So aside from the lack of goal scoring, I mean, in the first 2 games, do you think there's anything worrisome about this Italy team going forward?
Just the fullback position kind of scares me a little bit. I thought Briagi wasn't that great either against Lithuania. He got taken off in like the early second half.
Yeah.
Florenzi didn't look too great. We miss Spinazzola. We really need him back, but just that fullback position kind of scares me. Everywhere else, I'm really concerned about.
Yeah, no, I agree. I definitely do see eye to eye with you on that one. I think midfield, this team is so deep. They no matter who you bring on, they're going to gel with that midfield. I think Jorginho's got to change his penalty kick method, because I think teams.
Yeah, he commented about that, right? He said like goalies are starting to study me, and I need to study them now. You know what? Just put the ball down, head down, pick your corner, and blast your foot through the ball, and that's it.
Yeah,
Stop
and I
with
think
the jump. Don't hesitate. Just pound it in, man.
And I think for him, his issue with that little jump thing is it takes away from any kind of power that he's hoping to put behind. I don't think he's hoping to put any power behind the ball, but I think what's even worse about that little jump is he's not putting the ball in the corner, in any corner of the net. It's literally about throwing the goalie off. So if the goalie can, for a split second, hold his ground as Jorginho's kicking it, the goalie's going to win that battle.
Oh yeah, that like in the
100%.
Euro final too. That's what Pickford did, right? He just held his ground for that split second, and he
Yeah.
just followed the ball. It was an easy save.
Yeah.
And same with
exactly.
the Swiss goalie here, right? He just held his ground, and you know what actually
Exactly.
concerned me though? It was kind of funny. Bonucci taking free kicks.
Yeah. Very
No
surprising.
chance.
Not
That should
sure.
not be happening.
But see, I don't know if that was a Mancini call or what was going on there, because he's never taken free kicks, at least in my memory, at Juventus. He's never.
Not with no, he hasn't with Juve. With
Yeah.
Italy, he has a few times.
Yeah. Okay.
I just think just because Insigne was off, right? That's why they did it.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, he would be the next one. Maybe it goes to hierarchy on the field, I guess, if you will. Yeah, for sure. But yeah, so I mean, going forward with this Italian team, what do you think going into the next international competition or the international break is going to be a big one for Italy as they play against Spain? I know we'll probably have a podcast prior to that, then we'll talk more in depth about that. But what do you think the outlook is, or what is the outlook for this team heading into that international break?
I don't think Mancini's going to change too much. I think he's going to keep it the same. I even think Immobile is probably still going to start.
Yeah.
I think, though, if nothing is happening by early second half, you can see him throw on Kane or Raspadori.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. Keane, speaking of Keane, he had a solid game against Lithuania. Kind of gets you all hyped up for what he's going to bring to Juventus. With that being said, Allegri came out saying that the sale of Cristiano Ronaldo had no bearings on the Keane purchase, because they were going to be bringing Keane back regardless. He's not there to essentially bring in or to cover what Ronaldo not having Ronaldo does, but just to be another weapon off the bench. I brought up
that depth is big, right? You need depth.
Yeah. No, I agree, man. Especially there was that stat that I told you. Erling Haaland was the only other player to score double-digit goals in the age bracket of Moise Kean, which is pretty unreal when you think Moise Kean at PSG was able to do what he was able to do at PSG.
Hey, he took over Icardi's spot, right? He outscored him, and he was starting. He got what, 21 goals, I think it was.
Yeah, something like
42 games, something like that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, he did really good. I think he's definitely. I mean, Morata is really good in the air. He's very good when it comes to being a big body guy and shouldering off defenders. But I think Moise Kean, when you're looking at that true number 9, I think brings more to the table than Morata. Unfortunately, what we just saw over the weekend was that miscue between him and Szczesny. But
are we going straight into the game this weekend, or?
I think, you know what? I think we should get it off of our chest, because that's going to take us. We're going to be very emotional about it.
So you wanted to do the podcast yesterday. I said no, like we're too hot-headed right now, too heated. Like, let's have the night to calm down.
Yeah. So
really think about what happened, and then we'll go from there, right?
Yeah. So I mean, in saying that, this is what I think personally when I think about that Napoli versus Juve game. It was a tough loss. I mean, we had the 1-0 lead.
Yeah.
You kind of say to yourself, Napoli would probably score a goal at some point in the game. I didn't think they were going to take two, but today, this was not how I thought yesterday, but today, if you really think about it, we were missing 7 of our starting guys. We essentially had a B team playing out there, and we held down Napoli defensively anyways, because I swear it felt like 85% of that game was spent in Juventus's defensive half.
Well, I think once Morata scored that goal, they just kind of absorbed way too much, right? Yeah. Eventually they were going to break down.
Yeah. And that was an awesome goal by Morata too. I think that's what they needed to do, and it's really unfortunate that Allegri didn't make them continue to press, because they obviously showed that they're going to get pressed. They're going to make mistakes. I'm not saying that they're going to be scoring, Morata or Juve is going to be scoring that goal 99% of the time, but pressure. If you're pressuring the defense, they're going to make mistakes. You might be able to put in another one, especially the way Ospina looked on that goal too. You can kind of say he was probably in an area where he was expecting the pass by Manolas, which put him out of position in net.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, he didn't look like he was ready to get back in net for that shot by Morata. So I mean, it's like, what is this team doing out there? Like, what do you think the thought process was going into that game yesterday?
Don't lose. Don't play to lose. And that's when you end up losing, right?
Yeah.
You got the goal, they parked the bus, and that was it.
Yeah.
And they got dominated the whole game. And the front three looked so tired by the second half because all they were doing was getting it, bolting it up to Bernardeschi.
Yeah.
He would run, lose the ball, track back. Run, lose the ball, track back.
And it was actually really unfortunate to watch Bernardeschi yesterday because Bernardeschi looked like the Bernardeschi of Juventus last year and the previous year. He did not look good whatsoever. His passes were never making it to the players that he intended it to pass to. He was losing every ball that he had at his feet. And I mean, I get it. You're missing 7 of your players.
It's not an excuse though, right? Like that bench is better than half a City S team.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You can't make that as an excuse.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, it's kind of now put Juventus behind the 8 ball.
16th place, man, tied with Cagliari.
I know it's not
only ahead by goals. Goal differential.
And we've been there before, but I mean, City has changed since that last time that we were there, right? So it's like, what do you do next? And then jumping back to the international break, but going into this game, you're rewarding Weston McKennie for what he did with the U.S. team by starting him. I mean, don't get me wrong. I know Aaron Ramsey's not all that much better, and I know he's coming back from an injury. But why is Weston McKennie on that field?
You want to first touch on what he did before we kind of
So
get into that?
I mean,
there was a couple things, right? I heard one where he was signing autographs without a mask and not wearing it, so that was one of the issues.
Yeah, and then the other one was he invited a non-U.S. national team player into the bubble that they stay on. I guess their residence or whatever that they stay during their international break. So he broke 2 COVID laws COVID bylaws or COVID expectations, whatever you may have you.
And he's gotten in trouble in Torino a few times, right, with Juve.
Last year with Dybala.
House party or something during COVID, and
was
it him who had a huge speeding ticket as well?
I don't recall the speeding ticket, but I do.
Was that someone else? I have to look into that. I know a Juve player got fined pretty heavy for speeding or something.
Who was that? Yeah, I know. Who was that? I know what you're talking about. I don't think it was Weston McKennie though. I think it was I'm gonna have to look.
We have to search it up. Yeah.
But now my question is why are you giving him a starting place in a game so big like Napoli? I mean, I get it because it's a big game and you want your best on the field, but what does it make Weston feel like doing and getting what he did and getting kicked off the national team to having a starting job that wasn't really guaranteed to him before that game being guaranteed to him when coming back after being kicked off? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I kind of felt bad for Allegri there because he kind of had to play him. There's nobody else on the bench. I don't understand why you left Bentancur, Dybala, and Cuadrado at home, and Danilo.
Yeah,
there wasn't reports about that. I don't understand why.
Yeah,
if Allegri had no other midfielders to work with, right? You're not gonna start Ramsey because he's absolutely garbage.
Well, from what I heard about Cuadrado was he was actually still in Colombia because of some gastro issues, but the Brazilians, I'm not too sure. Dybala, I'm not too sure either. Like, I guess he was out of form. I didn't really come across much as far as like what was going on with that. But I don't get it because it put us behind. Like, it shorthanded us.
Yeah.
And it made it even worse to us when we have no one else to call upon other than that. I think the only players they had were like 3 U23 players that they could have called.
Yeah, no chance Allegri was going to bring them on.
No, not in a game like that. But I mean, here we go. Here we are, Napoli versus Juve. And then when you look at the goals that were scored by Napoli, do you really blame the Juve team? I'm trying to get to something here, and I feel like, and I don't want him to be the scapegoat every time something happens with Juve. But I mean, what is
third game in a row? Szczesny does it.
Like, this is becoming unreal. When does the leash get pulled on him? Because, like, come on, this is 3. You know what? You can say that the second goal yesterday was his fault as well, because maybe Keane shouldn't have put it his way, but Keane was probably thinking, bounce it into the ground. My goalie.
Miscommunication there, right?
Yeah, and that's where it comes down to those miscommunication from Keane, or I mean, this is something that a lot of teams do, is where they head it back to their goalie on a corner kick when it's open enough to do that, and that's what it was. But I don't know what Szczesny was doing. Szczesny had a horrible international break as well.
He did.
With the goal he gave up against England. So it's like,
yeah.
What is Juve to do?
You got to start pettying against Malmo. Simple as that. You have to now. You have to now. This can't continue, man. The fans are gonna kill him.
Yeah, I agree.
It's gonna be bad,
especially going into now the first game of Champions League. When you're looking at that, I mean, everybody should be back as far as the players that were missing out during the week. I mean, it's yet to be said about Chiesa, and I guess Cuadrado should be okay.
But Chiesa was fine, right? He just had his medical was all fine. It was just more of a precaution.
For precaution case, so they're probably saving him definitely for the Malmo game. So so now getting into Champions League, what do you think? What are your expectations when it comes to the group stage?
We're gonna finish second. I don't see us beating Chelsea at all, man. Especially with Lukaku this weekend scoring 2 powerful goals, man.
Oh, I know, man.
Chelsea
I know.
Looks good.
Dude, you know what this makes me feel like? Like City, I just got shit on. Like he had Ronaldo go into his first game, scored 2 goals.
2 goals,
yeah.
Lukaku, 2 goals.
2 goals. Like it's like, okay, so they left City A, and now it's like, what do you leave us with? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's unreal, man. It's.
But yeah, back to Champions League. I mean, second place finish for sure.
Yeah, you think second?
I hope.
Yeah. It's. I think the way City has started, you kind of think to yourself, second place is a lot tougher than first expected. I personally think they go and lose to Malmo. Yeah, it's the first game of Champions League, but you might even be able to kiss third place goodbye in that group, because if you go and lose to Malmo, I don't think you deserve to even be in Europa League. Right? So, and then that's no disrespect to Malmo. Malmo is, I mean, they're the best team in Sweden. I mean, right? But when you're quote unquote the best team in Italy, or you're trying to be one of the best teams in Italy, you don't go and lose to Malmo. That's just not allowed.
No. Did you hear the report that Malmo offered Juventus the away section, and Juventus denied the tickets?
No,
Did you hear about that?
No. Give me more about that. Dig deeper. I've never heard about that.
So I read on Twitter that Malmo offered Juventus the away section. I think a little over 200 seats were available for them.
Yeah.
And the club denied it and said, we're not going to send our fans there.
Really?
Yeah, and I don't know why. I tried to look more into it, and I couldn't find anything else about it.
That's crazy.
I don't know if... Now, does the club pay for the Ultras to go? Or do they get a discount on it? Like, I don't know how that works.
That I'm not too sure either. And anybody that's watching, if you want to comment down here to let us know, please go ahead, because I'm not too sure about that either. I would assume the club pays, and then the Ultras pay the club to get that money back. Because I don't know if you remember a few years back, there's a big beef between the Ultras and Agnelli, because Agnelli was refusing to sell tickets to the Ultras. Because
that beef is still going on too. Marquisio came out saying it's sad to see the stadium is so silent now. He's like, Juventus Stadium used to be the 12th man. So I think that beef is still going on.
This team is in utter shambles. Like this, no one is on the same page. And like, you really start to think to yourself, like, who's to blame? Like,
it starts from the top.
It starts from the very top. And you know what? I think we've gone through coaching changes. We've gone through personnel on the field changes. I mean, if you want to consider it that, but I mean that those changes were subpar changes. Rabiot, Ramsey, Weston McKennie. Like, these are not, wow factor kind of.
They're not Champions League winning players.
They're not. No. So who do you think it's to blame at this point in time? Do you blame whoever the sporting director is at that point in time? Now it's Cherubini. Like, do you blame Paratici? Do you blame Nedved? Or do you blame Agnelli?
I blame Agnelli and Nedved.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
I really do.
the same.
Did you see Nedved? Here's why you can blame Nedved. Did you see his report on DiCilio? He is the future of Juventus.
What kind of standard does that give us? That's when I heard that. You know what I did? You know what I did when I heard that? So I was in my room and I was reading.
Yeah.
I grabbed water so I could put it in my mouth and then spit it out. I was like, you got to be kidding. I'm like, hold on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's a joke, man. Like, what does that make? Like, as a fan hearing that, and you know,
your future is a 30-year-old,
right?
Failed fullback.
And you know Allegri. You know Allegri's on the bench going like this because he praises DiCilio. I don't remember DiCilio playing a good game. I don't remember DiCilio making a good defensive stop that changed the game. Remember.
Okay, he was good when he was young, right? When Prandelli brought him up to the Euro 2012.
Yep.
That's when he made his mark, and he was good with Conte. And after that, I was just
went downhill. You know what? And since that time, I mean, the only things I remember is him getting beat on the wing. The only things I remember is him making those low drive crosses that don't even go to, like 5 feet into the 18-yard box. It's like, and this is our future. This is what you're telling me. The wing back situation that has plagued Juventus that so much that they even screwed the midfield up so much that overtook the issues at the back position. And now you're telling me that the guy that you put out on loan last year
is your future
of this team. Where does this make any sense whatsoever?
The management on top's got to get their shit together real quick.
They do, because I think it gets to a point where Agnelli needs to be blamed. I mean, he's been our president since I think 2010, give or take. I'm pretty sure 2010. And I get it, a lot of success under him. But you know what though? We've reached the pinnacle in Italy. I don't give a crap about winning Serie A's because we've done that.
Mm-hmm.
The next step
is
Champions League.
100% agreed.
And this team not only doesn't win Champions Leagues, they don't win semis. They never even make it to semis. They don't even make it to the quarters. They lose in the round of 16. Going back to the years that they, after the Calcio, when they were on their run of Scudettos and all that, and they finally got back to Champions League. How many finals have they been to? 2.
Well, we had that run. We made 2, right? We're just missing that one guy.
But those other times were always round of 16 or quarterfinal exit. Under Conte, we never went past the round of 16.
Yeah.
Under Allegri, we made it to the finals, granted.
Mm-hmm.
Under Sarri, round of 16. No, quarters. Quarters,
yeah.
Pirlo, round of 16. Allegri now, who even knows?
Who knows?
This has got to stop because they are ruining what once was a great club where players didn't want to go.
Yeah.
And it's like, and then you bring in Ronaldo. I hate to touch on this guy, but you know what though? It's unfortunately Ronaldo's is going to be a talking point for a while because now.
Oh, he will be. He will be.
Since he's left, we're winless. Because it's Ronaldo.
If you look on Twitter, the amount of chirps Juve is getting is ridiculous.
Oh yeah,
you can see like Ronaldo the problem. ... So was Ronaldo really the problem? He scores 2 goals. First game with United.
You know what?
Wrong signing, wrong time. Simple as that, right?
But you know what though? But to my knowledge, I don't know what you've seen. I don't think anybody's ever really blamed Ronaldo for being the problem.
No.
I think it's just more, like you said, right signing, wrong time.
Yeah.
But also it's just the fact of everybody else on the field was not Ronaldo caliber. So you're not going to win anything. So it's not so much Ronaldo's fault. And I never blamed Ronaldo. I absolutely loved having Ronaldo on Juventus. It was fun for the few years it lasted, right? But like now it's just going to look like anything that happens this year, it's going to be back to Ronaldo was a savior because now you're thinking to yourself, okay, look, the last time we had a chance to snatch a win, especially this year, was against Udinese. And who scored an offside goal? Ronaldo.
His freaking kneecap was offside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see them call that offside if Napoli scored. But anyways,
little shot there, Napolitanos.
Yeah, I know, right? Of course, all the time. But you know what? But like, and then going to Ronaldo, scoring 2 goals in his first game with Man U, you kind of expected it because let's be honest, like Juve is not in Ronaldo's heart, but Manchester was. So
Yeah.
him
Oh
going
yeah.
back to Manchester is a different emotional emotional realm than playing
Hmm.
for Juve, right? So do I think Ronaldo was going to have a bad year or an off year at the Man U? No,
No, no chance. No
it was
chance.
never in the cards. It was never in the cards.
He wants to be there, right? That's it. That's the thing. He wants to be there.
He does. He does. And
Yeah.
you know what? I think he deserves to be there. I think that's a team that I could see him ending his career with. He was obviously a big part of Real Madrid, but I think his first love was always Man United, and it was a place where he should go back to retire. Juve was a very random place for him to go.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I mean, it was back in a long time ago. He was supposed to be a Juventus player before Man United. So I guess everything goes full circle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that brings us actually now to touching back on the Champions League or staying in the Champions League there. How do you think Juventus lines up this Tuesday against Malmo?
We'll probably be in the 4-3-3 position.
Yeah.
I think your front three will be Chiesa, Dybala, Morata, I think.
Okay.
Your midfield, Locatelli, who was excellent against Napoli.
Yeah.
Probably should have touched on that a little bit earlier, but he was probably like the only bright spot, I think, that game.
Yeah. No,
defensively, he was a beast.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he starts. I think Rabiot starts with him and possibly Bentancur if they're back.
Yep.
Then you got Danilo. Bonucci picked up an injury though against Napoli, no?
I didn't.
Or he was having a bit of a muscle problem. From what I
quickly look into that. Hold on.
But if Bonucci's okay, I think you go Bonucci, De Ligt, and Sandro. And Pellegrini was actually all right. I was happy to see him start. Yeah, he deserves a shot there, right?
Sorry, who?
Pellegrini.
Yeah, you know what? I was happy to see him start too. It was about time, man, because that's another one. That's another mess up by Juventus. You go sell Spinazzola, who blossomed in Atalanta, and you flip him for Pellegrini for what reason? Like, what was the reason behind that?
Yeah.
But it's good to see. It was unfortunate to see him go. He's the one that actually Bonucci. I don't say anything about an injury, but I know Pellegrini. He did have a cramp that they ended up subbing him out for precautionary reasons. So I mean, maybe that's what you might have got mistaken with. But Bonucci, hopefully he is there. I personally see Juventus going into that game with a 4-4-2. I think now they want to go with that 4-4. I'm gonna put this out there. My preferred starting XI is a 4-2-3-1. But
everybody wants a 4-2-3-1. Even when you read Twitter, it's like, why is this 4-2-3-1 not being played right now?
Yeah, right. So
I don't understand. Like, you have the players for it.
Just do it, right? But alas, Allegri's an idiot. So we're going to think like an idiot, and we're going to go with a 4-4-2 in this case. So I think, the 4-4-2, the top two, I think they'll go with Chiesa and Dybala just because of the flow-free, no number 9. They can feed off each other, and they got more open play that way. On the left side, I think you go with Bernardeschi. On the right side, I say you go with Cuadrado. And then the midfield, I would say Rabiot and Locatelli. And then the back four, I would say Danilo, Bonucci, Chiellini, and actually, you know what? If Bonucci's out, I'm gonna go with the fact that maybe Bonucci is injured. I would say you put De Ligt in there. De Ligt will be there somehow, maybe for Chiellini, but Chiellini had a good game against Napoli, so maybe
he was good.
And then on the left side, Alexandro, again, guaranteeing or thinking that they're all going to be back there. But I mean, the other option is if they do go with the 4-2-3-1, which makes even much more sense. I think the best way to start with that with the 11 there is Morata, Chiesa left, behind him Dybala on the right side, Kulusevski. The two, actually, I wouldn't even put Kulusevski there. I'd probably put Cuadrado.
No. I put Dybala in the middle behind Morata. Cuadrado on the right.
Yeah.
And then your two midfield, obviously Locatelli and Rabiot. I thought Rabiot was pretty decent that game too against Napoli.
I think he did too. I think also in that too, I think that's the only position, the only formation that Bentancur can actually thrive in, because in that case he doesn't have to attack and he can play as a defender, and he's pretty good at defense.
Wasn't he bought as an attacking midfielder?
No, I don't think I ever read that. I think it was just, he was always defensively. I could be wrong. I could be wrong, and because this is going back now, I think 5 years that they
Yeah.
pushed, right? But let me see here.
Gotta look into that because I'm pretty sure they bought him as an attacking midfielder, and then the coach at the time wanted to change him to a regista or a mezzala, one or the other.
Um,
I could be wrong, but
no, but I mean, it doesn't say how he started, but it says that he is capable of playing any midfield position, including defensive mid and central midfield, and as a yeah, okay, and as a winger on either flank.
yeah,
I don't
please,
know about that
I'm a
one.
better winger.
Yeah, for real, man. The guy can't shoot for shit. But anyways,
No, you can't.
so anyways, yeah, like I mean, but I think having him in the 4-2-3-1 playing defensively gives Locatelli that ability to go in between box to box, right? So and then the back four would be the typical back four. There's really definitely not no DeScilio. I really do not want to see DeScilio go on that. But yeah, so I mean that's what I think for Champions League this Tuesday. I don't know what's going to happen the rest of the way through, but it is a big game leading into the weekend, which we're going to touch on in a few minutes. But before we go there, stick with the Champions League. UEFA president Ceferin.
Yeah.
I might have pronounced that wrong. Maybe Ceferin. I don't even know. I might have just made it Italian. But anyways, Juventus can leave. He was quoted by saying because he still doesn't understand why the three amigos in Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus are still trying to form the European Super League. Give me your take on the European Super League.
I am not a fan of it, man. I really don't want it to happen.
No?
As much as I love Juventus, big Juve fan, I love seeing the little teams thrive.
Yeah.
Like, there was nothing better that time Leicester won the EPL.
Yeah.
Like, I watched every single goddamn Leicester game for some reason. Right?
No, I get it.
I don't like it. I think you got to keep your Venices and all that stuff in there. Forget the Super League. I'm not a fan.
I think what it comes down to is I get the idea of it. I too don't like the shutting out of smaller clubs, but I think it can be revamped into something that benefits everyone. I think in the sense of a European Super League that branches out to other leagues, but those other leagues will then have these smaller teams the ability to win within their domestic league. So, in my personal opinion, if we're looking at a European Super League, I would have these teams 1 through 15, however many teams, okay, like the Juventus, the Barcelonas, the English teams, play in this. Yes, you know what the result will be no Champions League, okay?
Yeah.
But the only way Champions League will be played is, and I will touch on this in a moment, okay? So you have the European Super League, but each domestic league still has the opportunity to get there. So the way I think about it is this: the bottom teams would get relegated to their respective domestic league, and then the top of that league, the top however many. So let's just say Juventus, Inter Milan, AC Milan are all in the Super League. Okay, bottom four get relegated. So let's say they're in that three, and then the fourth one is an English team. That English team goes to England. So whoever won that league goes there. Those three Italian teams go down to Serie A. The top three Italian teams move up to the Super League. If there's a German team that's safe, they're safe. French team, they're safe. They're safe. Do you understand what I'm getting at?
I know what you're saying, but it makes no sense because you go from supporting and putting money into the Super League, now you're going back to supporting Serie A and putting money into Serie A again.
But they won't last there because the idea is they will be back up. But
do you want to see like Juve, Milan, Inter make Super League, go down to Serie A, dominate just to go back up? That's a boring year.
For sure. I get it, but I think what the bigger, hopefully the bigger picture are those smaller teams that usually don't have a chance to win the Scudetto because of these bigger teams have an opportunity to win the Scudetto in those years. So let's just say there's a year where the Italian teams don't get relegated, but Napoli finishes first. Napoli finally gets to win a Scudetto because they're number one. They don't make it to the European Super League, and that's unfortunate. Maybe that's where this idea gets a little null and voided. But I mean, I get the Super League. I get it. Baggio, he went on record to say that he agrees with the Super League because football needs change. But he also understands where people like myself and yourself that we're fans, the smaller teams, they need to be remembered. It can't just be for the benefit of the Juves, the Barças, the Real Madrids, right? So
unless you just cut the league down to a smaller size, you don't need 21 teams.
That's what I think.
Cut it down to 10. Cut it down to 10 or 11. Cut it in half.
Like no offense, but like really, what is Spezia? What really is Venezia? Like, you know what I mean? Like these teams, I mean, Venezia's got beautiful jerseys, don't get me wrong, but
the best in the city, yeah.
But like these teams though, like where do they fit in the grand scheme of things? A lot of these teams come up from City B just to go back down to City B.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like,
I think if you cut the league in half, the competition would be insane.
I think so too. I think
you just look at like your top 11, right? Like Juventus, Inter, Milan, Napoli, Roma, Sassuolo.
Yeah.
Lazio, Fiorentina, and one more. Like, can you imagine that as just a league?
You know what's even more crazier?
Unpredictable.
You know what'd be even crazier?
So,
if you cut down that league the way you're saying right now, Juve wouldn't even be in that league.
Or 16th, it'd be in Serie B again.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it'll look. I like that. I like the shortening of the. There was a couple years back they're actually talking about making the league a little smaller. I'm surprised they never went through with that. But I that's one thing I do agree with. Yeah, is make it more competitive. Cut it down to 10, 11, 12 teams. Maybe 12 teams, bottom two get relegated. And go from there, because I do agree. I think that would definitely make it a lot more interesting, a lot more competitive. Because, well, I mean, I think the league itself seems a lot more competitive now in the top realm with the Lazios and ACs and the Inters and the Romas. But at the bottom, it doesn't look too competitive, and that's usually what happens with Italy. Is 10-1 is pretty close, but then 11 to 18, it's just a huge drop off. Well, maybe not 11 to 18, but at least the bottom five is such a huge drop off. But maybe it'll also create more opportunities to have Italian strikers in the league, because that is definitely something that Italy lacks.
They're lacking right now, eh?
Huge.
26 out of 47 strikers are Italian or something like that?
I think that was 74.
Is it 74?
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was pretty sure it was 70 something. That's what I saw. Dude, and what's even worse is that out of all those Italians that are there, Quagliarella,
38 years old, by the way,
is the fastest.
Yeah, fastest sprint time, 35.8 kilometers per hour.
That's unreal for him. He's
38 years old, man.
That's awesome for him. For the Italian national team, that's not awesome. You know what I mean?
I know.
I think that's that's the importance of having players like Raspadori staying at Sassuolo. I think that's Moise Kean getting his opportunity.
Well, he rejected Juventus, right? Because Juve were going to go after him. He said, "No, I want to stay with Sassuolo, play." And that was a good move by him. I like that.
Well, I mean, you can't knock him for doing that, especially when he knows he'd come to Juventus to sit on the bench behind Morata. So it's like, really, what I totally agree with him. You know what I mean? And look at Moise Kean. Moise Kean finally got his opportunity last game. Hopefully, he gets more opportunities. But you're looking at players that I guess kind of went missing after certain years. I mean, look at Orsolini. Orsolini was supposed to be another big name, and
he had a couple times he played with the national team during qualifications for Euros.
Yeah, and he
scored a couple goals, made a couple nice assists.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him move from Bologna. I think he's still with Bologna. I don't think he moved anywhere during the off season, but I
don't know.
I didn't hear anything about his name, but it would be nice to see him maybe even come back to Juventus, because I mean, at this point in time, it's kind of hard to. Well, Dybala should
He's still with Bologna.
Yeah, he's still with Bologna. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, what does Juve do in that case if Dybala doesn't sign in the offseason? Because we're heading into month number 3 of contract talks with this guy, and he wants a certain amount, and Juve doesn't want to give him even after. I mean, who knows what was? I wish I was a fly on the wall in that room, because if you imagine, he would have got promised more money if they offload Ronaldo, and now Juve doesn't want to up their offer after uploading.
Yeah.
What do you do, right? And this is your number 10. You gave him the sacred number of all numbers in Italian football, and you're not even giving him maybe. Like, do you think he's worth a renewal?
Yes, I like him.
Yeah, a little hesitation there.
It's almost, I'm kind of torn because I kind of feel like it's almost time to rebuild, remodel, restructure Juventus just in general.
Yeah,
right.
I agree. I think
we're in an awkward stage right now.
Yeah,
we're in that stage of we're young and talented, but we can also sell this young and talent to rebuild and remodel everything.
You know what that sounds like? That sounds like a team that has no identity. And I totally agree.
And they have no identity right now.
Yeah.
Juve's identity for years was what? Defense and midfield.
Yeah.
And what is it now?
It's all out attack and barely any mid or barely
it's
any
not even attack. We
mid.
Can't score more than one freaking goal these past 3 games.
Yeah, that's true.
So you can't say our identity is attacking and we can't score right now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's tough to say, especially with such a big game coming up on the weekend that can essentially knock us out of some sort of, or any kind of Scudetto talk, or maybe even Champions League talk. Mm-hmm. We have a big game coming up against AC Milan. What's your thoughts going into that?
If we lose, I think you gotta fire Allegri.
Yeah. Who do they go after though? Because it's going to be another firing under Allegri's belt, and that's going to be another coach that Juve's paying. They got Pirlo, Sarri, and Allegri on the docket right now. So, do they go back to Pirlo? Who do they go after? I don't think they fire him. To tell you the truth, I don't think they fire him.
You want this to ride out all season? People were calling for Pirlo's head when it was like this.
I know, right? Imagine he was still if it was like this, he would have been fired after the loss against Napoli.
Oh yeah,
if Pirlo was the coach right now.
100%.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a tough one for Juve, man. I'm looking really good right now.
Yeah, I know. They won today 2-0. We are recording this on September 12th. So they beat Lazio today. Let me just pull up the standings currently, just to kind of round out or go with the standings to see what it's looking like after all games are final. It looks like. Okay, so right now, heading into next week, we have Roma, AC Milan, Napoli, all tied at 3-0, 9 points from 9. Inter Milan in 4th place with 7, tied with Udinese, who are at 7 points. Yeah.
Good. Everyone kind of ripped them off too in the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah.
Paul gone and good for them.
Then Lazio, Fiorentina in 6th, and then
Lazio surprised me being that low at the moment. I thought they would really. I mean, certainly it's only been 3 weeks, but.
And then they only lost their first game, so there's time.
Yeah.
And then 8 through 10, you got Bologna, Sassuolo, and Atalanta. I don't know if I should continue. I'm just trying to get to Juventus, bro. That's what I'm trying to do, man. And then 11th through 14, we have Torino, Empoli, Genoa, Venezia, and then finally 15th, Sampdoria, and then Juventus is tied for 18th, relegation.
Nice.
We are tied for relegation.
Love it.
What's your starting lineup going into the game against AC Milan this weekend? Because you have to think to yourself, I'm going to try to set up AC's.
Is it on a Sunday or a Saturday?
That game is on the 19th, which is, I think, the Sunday, because it's 2:45. So it is on the Sunday.
Champions League game is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Sweden, not much of a flight. I don't know. 4-3 again, I think.
Yeah.
You might see a different thing in the winger position. I think Morata will still start.
Okay.
I can see Bernardeschi getting on. Dybala will still start, and Chiesa will still start if all is well. Your midfielders, I can see Locatelli taking a seat for this one. Maybe. Actually, no. Scratch that. Against Milan sold him.
Yeah, he's got to be.
He's gonna want to play. I'm sure Allegri knows that. So Locatelli, maybe Bentancur and a McKennie this time.
Yeah.
And your back four stays the same.
Yeah.
And I think Pridien gets a chance if he doesn't start against Malmo.
Yeah, I agree. I think we give him a chance, and I think that's a good game. AC Milan to give him a chance. I agree with the Pridien move. I think personally, excuse me. Well, I think it looks like going into next week, AC Milan was going to be setting up with the 4-2-3-1, with Calabria and Hernandez on the right and left, Romagnoli, Tomori in the middle. Then you have Kessie and Tonali. More on Kessie in a few minutes.
Yeah, contract year.
Yeah, Florenzi, Diaz, Leao, and then most likely led by Oliver Giroud or Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I think they're going to go
still getting it done for their age, eh?
Unreal, man. And then you have us that are struggling. Personally, I think I'm going to stick with my starting lineup. I think Juve counter with the 4-2-3-1 in this game. I personally think
so. Eh?
Yeah, I think it's a good opportunity to try something new.
Well, it's crazy to me because Allegri played that with Juve long ago, right?
Yeah.
And Mandzukic was your winger.
Yeah.
Now that you have proper wingers, aren't you playing that position, like that formation?
You don't have the team to do it, and you do it. Now you got the team to do it, and you don't do it.
I don't get it.
I personally think Allegri's got to grow that hair back because as a bald man, he's an idiot. But yeah, so that's what I think is going to happen. Now going back to the Kessie, situation. Yes, contract year. I wanted to wait to ask you this. I know we had an agenda. I didn't tell you about this on the agenda, but I wanted to see what your choice or your opinion is on this.
Yeah.
Kessie is not re-signed. It looks like he's not resigning. I know Liverpool's going hard on Kessie. Does Juve make an attempt to sign Frank Kessie to Juventus for next year?
I would love that.
Yeah.
And I think they probably will attempt it. I don't think he will go because the money's in England.
Okay.
Liverpool's going to come out with a fatter contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I would totally love him. I
think
remember we talked about it. We wanted him from Atalanta years ago, right?
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they even attempted to sign him a couple times.
I think they did, and then I think he rejected. Let's see if I can find out the old.
A great addition. Imagine him and Locatelli together at 4-2-3-1.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
That would be awesome because they both play the same exact position and they would be able to both interchange between each other.
Well, who was Locatelli's partner in Sassuolo? Because they were kind of the same player and they were fantastic in the middle together. I think you have a Sassuolo's fan out there, then comment below, tell us who it is.
Yeah, please, because I think I don't know if I can't remember. I want to guess, but I don't want to sound like an idiot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But regardless, big matches this week for Juve, big telling matches of where we see this team going forward. If Juve, if there was a time to pay the refs, it'd be this weekend. But
it's a big week. It's a big week for them, man.
It's
a big week. And even though it's early on in the year and we're probably hitting the panic a little too hard right now.
Yeah.
This is a huge week for them.
Yeah, I agree. And that's pretty much for the agenda today. I just wanted to touch on one last thing that I forgot to mention. Jorginho, first non-native Italian captain. So essentially what that means no Italian blood. First time he was a captain. First captain of Italy to be like that. I know there's a lot of debate going on about Giuseppe Rossi being the captain, but he does have Italian blood. So
yeah.
But Jorginho does not have Italian blood, which makes him the first non-native Italian to captain an Italian side. What do you think about that?
Totally deserved it.
Yeah.
Worked so hard. I was reading an article. Somebody wrote on him, and he used to make $20 a week, and he was struggling, and he just kept his head down. He's like, I kept going. He goes, Happy Meals back in the day were a treat for him. He would go to McDonald's and get a milkshake, and that was like his thing once a week, right? So yeah, happy for him.
Yeah, you know what? I think he's really come into his own. I kind of feel like I don't know really who who to thank for the way he's played, because I mean, thank you Mancini, but I don't know if I put the onus on or not the onus, but the thanking on Maurizio Sarri or Tuchel for taking over Chelsea and kind of revamping Jorginho, because either or, they definitely did
a both, right? I think when he first went to Chelsea after Sarri left, he was struggling a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. So
he wasn't even a starter.
There's rumors during that time that that Juve wanted to go after him, and then Sarri wanted to go after him when because he was with Juve and he wanted
the price tag was too big at the time, right?
Yeah. But yeah, no, congratulations to Jorginho for that. And that brings us to the end of our very, very, very first podcast. Leo, is there anything you wanted to add before we sign off?
Just want to say thank you, and it's gonna be a lot of fun this year.
Hey, you know what, man? The thanks is that right? The thanks is all mine. No, well, I want to thank you because I obviously I need you on this, and you were so great to agree and excited to do this. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy time for doing this. And yes, it's going to be fun, but let's just hope that we have some good things to talk about with Juve for next weekend, because honestly, I don't think I'm going to be able to be pissed at them every week and be able to talk about them if this continues. But anyways, thank you very much for watching our first ever podcast. If you guys have any suggestions of what you want to see going forward, just put it down in the comment section. I will definitely try to look into it, put it into agenda, and then go from there. If you have any comments and questions, leave them in the comment box. But anyways, thank you very much for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week. Have a good one.
Take care, guys. See you next week.
Take it easy, guys.